Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III, and I'm here on behalf of Disability Resolution PA, specifically D101 Filing Basics, and we're going to be doing what are insurance gaps, aka IG1 and IG2. Alright, so let's talk about that. We now know as we get older, we need more quarters of coverage. As we get older, we need more quarters of coverage. Okay? Remember how we talked about in the prior videos how we earn quarters of coverage? Well, that's fine, so long as you keep in mind that as a person ages and they increase in years, they need more quarters of coverage. Okay, and there's a chart that I'll make a part of this video or a part of a study packet for you. Alright, so let's talk about that for a moment. So if somebody needs more quarters of coverage as they get older, let's look at the chart. Let's say on our timeline, you're born and you die. These are the two extents of our timeline, okay? Somewhere on this timeline, you start to work. That's very good. Somewhere on it, you start to earn your first quarters of coverage. That's excellent. You earn more, you earn more, you earn more, you earn more. Very good. Now, at some point, let's say you stop working, but you have enough quarters of coverage to pull you into an older age, right? So you stop working, now you've got quarters of coverage that pull you up to just past where your stopped working age is. So let's say you stopped working at 50, you're covered till 52. The person comes to us at 53 years old. At 53 years old, there's a problem because they are no longer insured, which means that we have to prove when they were 52 years old that they were disabled during this insured period, from when they first had enough quarters of coverage to when they reached 52 years old. We have to prove in this insured period when they became severely disabled. When they became severely disabled. Okay, we have to prove it in there that they became severely disabled during their insured period. Let's say that our hero, our claimant, then goes back to work. Work, earns more quarters of coverage. Right? He extends it out to 54 years old as to when he's covered. That insurance gap that we had between 53 and 52 disappears because the claimant worked more and earned more quarters of coverage, and because of that, frankly, very simply put, they are now covered farther out. So they are insured from the first date, when they first had enough quarters of coverage, all the way now extending it up to 54 years old. Our job now is to prove somewhere in this new insured period that they are in fact disabled. Because if we can prove that they're disabled within this insured period, they can get onto what's called Social Security Disability Insurance, which is usually a higher paying program, which is very good. Okay. So you got SSI, you got SSDI. If we can, we try to get them onto SSDI. Usually higher pay per month, usually larger back pay, usually larger forward pay. And remember, they get Medicare, not just Medicaid. Medicare is better than Medicaid. There's a lot of reasons why. We'll do another video on that. Okay. So let's go through this again. Somebody is born over here. They die over here. They start working. They have enough quarters of coverage earned because they were working and working and working. They're earning quarters of coverage. Cool. For their initial quarters of coverage requirement, they are covered. They get older. So let's say they get to 50, or let's say, what did we call it before? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's say they get to 50, okay? They stop working, but they've got enough quarters of coverage to cover them until 52. There's an insurance gap right? Because if they're currently 53 or 54 or 55 or whatever, if they're older than that, then there's a gap there. There's no insurance beyond that 52, which means that we can't prove that they're disabled, okay, after that 52 years old, unless we're going to use SSI, which is the poverty program. And remember, SSI is you got to be poor, you got to be medically disabled. SSDI is you got to be insured, you got to be medically disabled, okay? So let's talk about that. Let's say that they're 55, they go back to work, they earn some more quarters of coverage, it's enough to move their insured period to 54. Cool. We can work with that, right? Because if they're 55 and, insured period 54, we can request what's called retroactive benefits. All right, so what are retroactive benefits? Retroactive benefits are benefits that start before the person files and they end the moment the person files. Because when the person files, back pay benefits start. Okay, back pay benefits. I'm going to pull the microphone down a little bit. Now let's talk about that for a moment. Back pay benefits. All right. So you've essentially got these retroactive benefits. Let's say somebody over here, that's when they file, right? That's the process of them being found disabled. Boom, they're found disabled here. This area is called forward pay. It means that each month going forward, they get forward pay. They get a check every month. That's what it means. It's super simple. Once they're found disabled, they get a check every month. That's called forward pay. Okay? Then over here, you have, from when they file to when they're found disabled, back pay. Except imagine the B is reversed and backwards or whatever. Back pay. That's what we get paid from. We get paid from back pay. We get that 25% up to $6K. And I'll explain more of that later as to how attorneys get paid. Going even further back in time to before they filed. Because remember, some people get disabled and can't file right away or don't file right away. Those are called retroactive benefits. Now, what are retroactive benefits? Retroactive benefits start when the person became severely disabled, and they end when the person filed for disability benefits. And then back pay benefits start, and they end when the person is found officially disabled under the SSA rules, and then forward pay begins. That's their monthly check that they get every month, okay? Retroactive benefits during the disability process, back pay benefits once they're found disabled, forward pay benefits. Are retroactive benefits available to SSDI claimants? Yes. Are retroactive benefits available to SSI claimants? No. Retroactive benefits are available to SSDI claimants. Retroactive benefits are not available to SSI claimants. Okay? Now you understand what the gap issue is. Okay? There is, and I put that in there because I think it's good, and I'll point out the IG2 thing. There's never going to be an IG2 in the sense of, insurance gap 2, because the insurance just keeps filling in the back. So there's never a gap and then another gap and then another gap. It just keeps filling in the back. So they're born, they work, they get enough quarters of coverage, they're insured. They stop working, they're insured to here. They start working again, now they're insured to here. That gap in there, it disappears. So there's never really going to be an insurance gap 2, unless you think, okay, on a timeline they had 2 gaps at some point. That's fine, you could think like that. But the reality is that it always fills in the backlog, right? The insurance covers all that area where the gap was. So gap number 1 disappears, and then the new gap is in the front, right? It's going forward, it's in the future. That's the new gap. Okay. Okay, so that is what are insurance gaps. And in disability world, there's really only one insurance gap, and then if they work again, it'll disappear. Okay, so that's how that works for D101 filing basics. My name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. I will see you at the next video, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.